Before you ever spoke a prayer, God was already answering it. What feels like a sudden shift in your spirit is not random. It is divine interruption. God is not offering you vague encouragement today. He is inviting your attention to something holy, deliberate, and already unfolding. This is not emotional impulse. It is timing set in heaven. You feel the seriousness of this moment because God treats covenant with care. Long before you recognized the desire, heaven was at work. While you were growing, healing, and learning faithfulness in quiet places, God was doing the same on the other side of a promise still hidden from view. Silence was never abandonment. Waiting was never rejection. It was preparation. God-designed love is not chased or forced. It is arranged. You were never meant to pursue what God intends to place in your life. Every pause, every refining season, and every delayed answer carried purpose. God orders steps long before hearts cross paths. What feels slow to you has never been slow to Him. Heaven moves with intention, not urgency. Your longing does not mean something is missing. Often, it signals readiness. Purified desire aligns you with what God has already prepared. Doors that never opened were not losses. They were protection. God was guarding something sacred, shielding you from attachments that would have required compromise instead of growth. As trust deepens, direction becomes clearer. Relationships stop being about filling empty spaces and start becoming about shared calling. God does not join lives casually. He builds futures with intention. He connects hearts that can carry responsibility, not just attraction. Purpose always precedes union in God's design. What is unfolding is not rushed. Heaven has never been inactive. God often works in silence to protect beginnings that need time to strengthen. Waiting was not delay. It was divine shielding. Some things must grow roots before they are visible. God hides what is fragile until it is strong enough to endure attention. Faith was strengthened quietly. Discernment was sharpened. Emotional endurance was formed. You learned how to wait without becoming bitter, how to hope without forcing outcomes, and how to trust God without needing constant reassurance. What is coming requires stability, not emotional fragility. God prepared you to hold joy without fear and connection without losing yourself. God did not waste your past. He redeemed it. Pain became wisdom. Confusion gave way to clarity. Boundaries formed where vulnerability once lived. What once hurt you taught you what you could no longer accept. You are no longer the same person who entered those earlier seasons. You are steadier now, clearer now, stronger in quiet ways that matter. God has been working on both hearts. Preparation was mutual. Healing was intentional. Readiness was built through humility and perseverance on both sides. What looked like distance was actually development. Heaven was shaping understanding, patience, and depth in places you could not see. When God brings two lives together, peace comes first. Clarity leads before excitement. Security replaces anxiety. What is from God settles your soul before it stirs your emotions. There is no rush to define everything, no pressure to perform, no fear of being misunderstood. Recognition arrives quietly, with assurance rather than adrenaline. This love will not compete with your purpose. It will support it. Covenant is not sustained by feeling alone, but by shared obedience and faith. Love rooted in God strengthens calling instead of distracting from it. You do not have to choose between devotion and connection. God never asks you to shrink your purpose to preserve a relationship. Before blessing arrives, God rearranges life quietly. Old patterns loosen. Certain conversations fade. Boundaries strengthen. Discomfort signals transition. What once fit no longer does, not because something is wrong, but because you are growing. Waiting sharpens wisdom. Patience protects promise. What God sends will never pull you away from your calling. It will walk beside it. It will encourage growth, protect peace, and strengthen obedience. Anticipation is now calm, not restless. Hope is anchored, not pressured. You are no longer striving to be ready. You are grounded, you are ready not because you are perfect, but because you are rooted. Rooted in truth. Rooted in healing. Rooted in trust. What is coming will not overwhelm you, because God has already done the quiet work within you to sustain it. You will notice that fear no longer governs your decisions. You are not driven by urgency or scarcity. You are no longer afraid of missing what God has for you, because you trust that what belongs to you will not require chasing. Peace has replaced striving as your confirmation. Your discernment has matured. You are not easily impressed by surface-level connection or temporary emotion. You recognize consistency, humility, and spiritual depth. What once distracted you no longer holds power over your attention. You are learning to move without forcing clarity. God is teaching you to walk in obedience one step at a time instead of demanding the full picture. This posture keeps your heart soft and your spirit attentive. You are no longer measuring progress by speed. You understand now that growth happens beneath the surface long before it becomes visible. What looks still on the outside is often strengthening on the inside. You are becoming a safe place for what God is bringing. Not rushed. Not reactive. Not unstable. You are steady, grounded, and aware. Prepared to receive without fear and to steward without control. Prepared promises meet prepared hearts. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself to be understood. God has taught you that alignment does not require constant clarification. What is meant for you will recognize you without persuasion. You are learning to listen more than you speak. Stillness has become a place of strength, not uncertainty. In quiet moments, God sharpens your awareness and confirms direction without noise. You are no longer reacting from old wounds. Healing has changed your responses. What once triggered fear now invites prayer. What once demanded control now receives trust. You understand that timing is part of obedience. Acting too soon can be as costly as acting too late. God is teaching you when to move and when to remain still, and both require faith. You are learning to honor peace as guidance. When something disturbs your spirit, you pause. When something aligns with truth, you rest. Discernment now leads your decisions, not pressure. You are becoming comfortable with being unseen. God has shown you that significance is not measured by visibility, but by faithfulness. What He is preparing does not need public approval to be powerful. You are developing patience without passivity. You remain expectant without anxiety. This balance protects your heart and keeps you available for what God is unfolding. You are learning that stewardship comes before increase. God entrusts more to those who care well for what they already carry. Faithfulness in the small has shaped your capacity for the greater. You no longer fear waiting seasons. You understand they are not empty, but full of formation. God uses waiting to strengthen roots so future fruit will last. What God is preparing to place in your life will recognize the work He has already done in you. You will meet it with peace, not panic, and gratitude instead of fear. Prepared promises still meet prepared hearts.